These are a few pointers. CCAN.net is a common knowledge something network, archive network, which is a place where you can just register the fact that you have some data so that other people can find it. There's the second line is in beta, so you have to join a Google group to sign up for it before you get access. It's not obvious how to do that. The data.gov is a fairly well-known US site. The line under that, data.gov TW, the Tetherless World site, is at RPI, which is a university in the US. Jim Hendler and his people, they are taking the stuff from data.gov, which is in all kinds of formats, and they're converting it all into RDF, so that you can look at it all as one great big data set. And they have more government data on their site as linked data, I think he told me last week, than anybody else. New York City has gone recently with an open data site. Toronto, the city of Toronto, has got toronto.ca/open. The Rhode Island, the state of New Ireland, has got its own. So you need this at the state level, at the town level. Every government should have an open data site where they put information about how they're doing the things that they've done with your money. And so, ask about Mexico. I couldn't find anything. It's up to you, you know. It's not up to me. I pass the task to you. All right, but it's an exciting time, and all this government data is opening things up, really allowing people to have a look, to understand how the world works. I think also it's really important for us to understand how the world is, from the ecology point of view, from global warming. Really important to see how the world is changing, and so it's really important to get the data out there. So things to take home then from this talk, and we have time for, I think, for some questions afterwards. But basically, there's lots happening on the web. You can get involved in it if you have an idea for a new standard. You can come to W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium, and you can very easily, you just need a few people to get together to start incubator group, a little group, very informal, to figure out which way to go. We can make interest groups. Then if it's a very serious industry thing, then we can make working groups, and we've got the tools, we know how to do it, and there are a lot of people who understand the web, and they also understand the business of getting consensus. It's exciting when HTML5 meets SVG and MathML. You should be putting your own data on the web, and you should be going out there and demanding the government data be put online, and that is just up to you. But at least you have practiced. Thanks very much for listening.
Vamos a hacer 5 preguntas y las vas a responder.
So I have a very quick one about HTML5, because I've seen a website that they're trying to replace the Flash interface of YouTube with HTML5, and I wonder, I mean, it still is very clunky. It doesn't do the same things as Flash, but this could eventually be very good because Flash, as you know, is not open, and also it doesn't work very well in some systems like Mac or Linux. So how far do you think we need to take HTML5 to replace Flash in the web?
Well, HTML5 is, of course, it's open. It's a standard designed by everybody, by you. So it's as an investment in the future, it's much better going to do in general than proprietary technology. And of course, well, you know, I've got a phone that Flash doesn't run on at the moment, for example. So, but also I like to be able to, in general, it's good to do things with open, using open tools for lots and lots of reasons that we know. From the practical point of view, this stuff runs in Firefox 3.5. Most of this technology is also in most of the browsers. So the question then is what happens in the next Internet Explorer as to whether it exports SVG. So to do Flash-like things, it's really nice to have SVG. And now there are various ways of getting around doing things with SVG and then getting around the problem of doing them on Internet Explorer. Ironically, for example, Google wrote the code which runs in Flash to implement SVG. So if you have SVG in your code, you can put one line at the top, a script which will call this Google strip, which will make it run by using Flash. So you can bootstrap yourself from the proprietary world into the open world. So I think now, this stuff has been around in a way for a long time. These ideas about how SVG should work have been around for a long time. But now that now I think there's a really strong momentum, and it's worth calling. It's worth always asking the question whether the browser, a given browser vendor has implemented standards and pushing them to do that. But now I think the pressure is building up very much. So I think we'll see a shift so that this sort of thing will become very, very, very common.
¿Alguien más? ¿Pueden pasar este micrófono?